All right, here we are. It is live on KEXP, and I'm your host today, Troy Nelson from listener-powered independent 90.3 FM, KEXP, like it says right here on my sweater. And we're broadcasting live in Seattle and streaming 24/7 at KEXP.org and our free mobile apps. And these live performances are made possible by people like you. So thank you so much for supporting KEXP. I am very grateful today to be in the KEXP live room with Petite Noir. And if you're all ready, take it away.
Set me alive. Set me alive. Set me alive. Set me
You're listening to Petite Noir live here on KEXP.
fire, burn life. Thank you.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Loved it. Yes, awesome. Petite Noir, live here in the KEXP live room. And we've been loving the latest album, Mother, Father. The first song I heard was Simple Things, which you played here today, and I was instantly hooked. And then there's so many different sounds all across this record. It's so diverse. So thank you once again for taking the time to share some of the songs with us today.
No, thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Yes. I just had a few questions for you real quick. And I'm always fascinated where artists, where their beginnings lie and where they first start discovering music. And I know that your life has been a fantastic, interesting journey. You were born in Brussels because your Congolese parents were in exile, and your dad was in the government in the 90s. And once the regime essentially collapsed, they left and went to the Ivory Coast and then landed in Cape Town. And throughout your early childhood, what are some of your first musical memories, like early childhood, before you got into your teens? What was some of your first musical memories?
I think for me, the earliest music I can remember is definitely MTV. Mm-hmm. Kind of like Michael Jackson, like everyone huddling around the TV to watch Thriller, you know? That was one of my clearest memories. We used to like love watching music videos as a family, you know.
That's one of my earliest memories, was waiting for Thriller to come on.
Right,
it was scary when it started. It was heavy breathing.
Right.
Yeah, it was amazing.
So that kind of like that. And then obviously there was like the African music. My parents used to love having like little parties at home, you know. Mm-hmm. So they would play like all this like Congolese music strictly, no other country. Yeah. It's like just Congolese music.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that kind of like grew up with this, with all these, with like the Congolese music and stuff. But I kind of also grew up feeling like I've kind of just had it in me all the time. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. And what was it about Congolese wedding music that was specific? I saw that you talked about that.
Yeah, so in terms of like at weddings is actually where you find like the newest tracks, you know. Mm-hmm. So that's where you'll find like the latest bangers would be at the Congolese weddings, you know. Everyone's dancing. It'll even inspire you to even like this song just by the way people are dancing.
Totally.
You know? Yeah. Yeah, so they're a very like special place. Obviously, it's like everyone's like merry, everyone's getting wasted.
Yeah.
And it's like the only time when your parents will allow like music where people are swearing and
Yeah.
you know like modern day music. Yeah. So yeah, weddings were very much an important role in my musical journey. You know?
Right. And then as you get into your teenage years, and I went through this exact same phase, then you started to get into punk rock and metal.
Yeah. So.
And I heard you talk about that in an interview, but you had not mentioned any specific artists or bands. I'm so curious when you think of like the metal in your teenage years that you were listening to. I'm curious who you were loving.
Okay. I love System of a Down. I mean, I guess it's not like metal, but
It's heavy.
Like, yeah, it's heavy. I love System of a Down. I like Black Flag, NoFX, Pennywise.
Cool.
Obviously, I mean, I have to mention Nirvana, but in terms of like System of a Down, for me, it was more just a combination of like the heavy music and the political kind of like lyrics, you know?
Yep.
Because I think they really go really well together, and I think especially the way he added, the way they added the like Albanian roots to the whole project. I think that was something super, super special, and then obviously created things like Chop Suey and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was kind of like for some reason I just loved the political and metal combination, you know.
Yeah. Me too. When I first heard Chop Suey, there was just nothing like it.
Yeah, exactly.
That song is so fantastic.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's next level.
Yeah, and the term noir wave, which I've heard you describe as sort of a mixture of 80s new wave mixed with African music. Did this term exist before, or did you coin this and invent noir wave?
I definitely coined it and invented it.
Yes.
In terms of like the sounds and what it kind of like represents, obviously it's, for me personally, it came very naturally because if I even tried to make like a rap song, it would sound terrible or anything else. So I kind of like, every time I made this music, in my mind, I felt like I was making like a radio top 40. But then when I would show people like Dave or whatever, they'll be like, well, this is like out there, you know? And I'm just like, it doesn't really make sense.
Yeah.
But I think this is like I kind of like learned to also like lean into that, you know? Leaning into the fact that I'm more here to influence sounds and influence people than I am to just kind of like just make like top 40 hits, you know? Which I'm also here to do, I guess in time it'll come. But yeah, like the noir wave idea was kind of like to coin this term, because I guess when I started making music, there was no kind of like, there was no one really making music like me, to be honest.
Yeah.
You know, especially being a man with my beautiful skin tone here. It kind of like, it was a little bit like Shanapan, you know, like, oh, this guy's making this music. So I was like, yeah, I kept on pushing through because I was like, this is kind of like all I can do. And everything came naturally, you know. It wasn't like I was like forcing, like, listening to stuff. So since it kind of like came naturally, I started to realize, actually, this is probably just what I'm meant to do, you know?
Yep.
And I just leaned into that, and that's kind of like...
I love that. Yeah, I heard you talk about that in a previous interview. Like back in the day, you only kind of had like Block Party to reference, and then all of a sudden, yeah, and then all these years later, you're like Young Fathers and Blood Orange,
100%.
and yeah,
now, Young
how
Fathers,
cool.
Blood Orange, Steve Lacy, all these people now are just like, you know, infiltrating the airwaves. So
Love it.
yeah, so I mean, obviously, starting off making the music was not the easiest, you know.
Sure.
Especially like being like thrown into like the deep side, but now I feel like it's a lot more accepted, you know. And
I love it. Right when I first heard and became aware of Petite Noir, I immediately could feel the authenticity of the music. And I was like, this is original. This is something, I don't know how to explain it to my friends. You know, I'm like, I'm like, just listen to it. It's so...
yeah, I think it's noir wave. That's just
Noir wave.
That's just all you need to say.
That's what I'm going to call it.
To say hip-hop, rock, metal, noir wave.
Noir
You know what I'm
wave.
trying to say?
Yes, I love that. And isn't music so interesting? Like, not only where it's taken taken you, and you have traveled all over the world, but the people that you've gotten to work with, I mean, that's got to be validation right there, because you've gotten to work with Mos Def, and you've also gotten to work with Sampa the Great, and I'm learning about all these other. Solange is a Petite Noir fan, and you got to do a song or sing on a song of Solange, right? Is that correct?
So she had like this. She had like a compilation that she was doing. But all in all, Solange she's been very nice. She's like helped me a lot in my musical journey. Inviting me to play shows, and the first time I actually came to America was because of her. You know,
Cool.
So in like 12 years ago, 13 years ago.
That's amazing.
So yeah, I've always been a fan of the Knowles. So yeah, they're cool.
That's awesome. I love that. And also, you got to work with Dave Sitek of TV on the Radio. Has TV on the Radio been an inspiration to you? How did you meet Dave Sitek and him end up producing?
Dave Sitek. Dave, I've always been a massive fan of TV on the Radio.
Yeah, me too.
You know, since whatever, you know. So I remember the one time I saw they were playing in London, and I saw he was like following me and stuff. So I was like, yo, don't you want to like link up and stuff? So it was like, oh, cool. So I went to his hotel room, and we hung out and like spoke about music and stuff. And yeah, and ever since then, like since like 6 years ago, we've just been talking all the time. I was with him now recording before I came here, so he's also been someone that's been super supportive, you know. And obviously, like Yassine Mos Def, he's also been a massive, like, he's introduced me to like so many people, like,
Cool.
Yeah, a lot of people, and just helped me with like musical stuff. We have a lot of music together, but none of it has actually come out. So hopefully someday in the future it'll kind of like appear somewhere. Blood Orange, yeah, he's Domino from the Domino days. I've also always been a fan of him.
Me too.
I think when I used to kind of like, when I was like young, and I used to Google like other black people like me, you know, he was one of the people that used to pop up all the time, you know? So I was like, oh shit. Yeah. And
He's done so many different types of music too.
yeah, he's also been on that type of, I kind of call it like being flowing like water, you know? He's also kind of like flows, just like intuitive artists, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, he's amazing. Yeah, he's done punk rock music. He's done it all.
Hardcore. He's done it all. And now he's chilling, you know, and doing what he wants to do. He's classical. It's just an all-rounder, you know?
I love that. Well, once again, we've been loving the album Mother Father from Petite Noir. And before we end, I read in an interview with you, you said, because you do all this traveling, and somebody asked you, so what do you consider home? And you said, well, my home is me, my heart, my mind, my decisions, that's my home. So we are so happy to have you in our home, and thank you for letting us into yours for a little bit.
Oh, thank you guys so much. It's been a long time coming.
Awesome. Once again, you've been listening to Petite Noir, live here on KEXP.
Discover new music at listener-powered KEXP.org.